Hey everybody, it's Ron from Pick Dawgz, and this is Ron's Rundown. We're going to go over the MLB games scheduled for Thursday, September 22nd, 2022. Now, if you like what you see, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to put your baseball plays in the comments section below. If you're looking for my best bets, you can find those at the Premium Picks tab at pickdawgz.com, and don't forget to check out the NFL edition of Ron's Rundown, where we go over every single game in Week 3 of the NFL season. That video also posted on the Pick Dawgz YouTube channel, and it will be posted tonight on Wednesday night, so check it out. I'll put a link in the description below and in the comment section below as well, so make sure you check it out. Alrighty, here we go. Here are the games for Thursday, September 22nd in the MLB. First up, we see the Texas Rangers hosting the Los Angeles Angels. Michael Lorenzen and Martin Perez are your projected starters. I want to mention as a little bit of a disclaimer for this Thursday card in the MLB, not the strongest in my opinion in a lot of games right now with no lines out. We're going to see that a lot in the final couple weeks here in the MLB regular season. Not a lot of value on the board, at least I've noticed in the last week or so. And as we near the playoffs, I do think once the MLB playoffs start, we'll start to see some better lines and some better information. But right now, a few games where we don't see a starting pitcher from either side or no official lineout, so we'll have to tread lightly for now in the MLB. But for this game, I'm leaning towards the underdog in the LA Angels, getting that plus money on the money line. When you look at Michael Lorenzen's last start, sure, he still gave up the long ball, which is something that's always been concerning in his game, but he's still been able to strike out some guys, which is something that he wasn't really able to do at the beginning of the season. And now 6 strikeouts in his last start against the Seattle Mariners in a 8-7 Angels win. Pretty impressive stuff for Lorenzen. And when you look at the Los Angeles Angels offensively, they're facing a lefty here in Perez, and their numbers against lefties have been really good in the last month or so. Their strikeout percentage is down from where we were used to seeing it before Trout was back from that injury. And we are also seeing the isolated power and team OPS numbers rise a lot as we near the end of the season. So the Angels starting to hit, especially against lefties. Even though Perez has been a solid lefty in that Rangers rotation, I think the value is on the underdog here. So give me the Los Angeles Angels on the money line getting plus money. Next up, we see another afternoon contest between the Minnesota Twins and the Kansas City Royals. Josh Winder and Jonathan Heasley are your starters. Jonathan Heasley's coming off one of his best starts of the season, but still, before that start against the Detroit Tigers, he gave up 7 earned runs in 4 innings of work, and he struggled at Kauffman Stadium this year with a 6.43 home ERA. That start against the Red Sox, where he went 6 2/3 innings and struck out 5 batters, that was on the road, but that game against the Tigers was at home where he gave up those 7 earned. So I don't necessarily love Heasley in this spot, even against the Twins lineup that's been struggling against right-handed pitching. Overall this year, it's still been pretty good. And Josh Winder on the other side, another starting pitcher that I'm not really comfortable backing in this one. In his last start against the Guardians, 4 2/3 innings, giving up 4 earned runs, a home run as well. He's given up 5 home runs in his last 3 starts combined. And even though the Royals offensively aren't the strongest team on paper, I still think they'll be able to get to Winder for a few runs at Kauffman here. I'm going to take the over through the first 5 innings in this ball game. I think we see 5-6 runs in the first 5, so give me the over. Next up, we see the San Francisco Giants taking on the Colorado Rockies in Coors Field. No official lineup for this one, as the Giants have not announced a starter, but Jose Urena is projected to go for the Rockies, and that's enough for me to take a shot here with the Giants on the road on the money line, as Urena has not pitched well at Coors Field this season. Now, his last 2 starts overall have been pretty solid against the Diamondbacks and Cubs. One of those starts at Coors, one of those starts on the road. But overall this season, in 38 innings of work at Coors, he's given up 28 earned runs, a 6.57 ERA at home. That's just not going to get it done. Only 25 strikeouts, plenty of walks allowed, 18 walks allowed. And the Giants have shown in the beginning of the series that their offense is still going to show up, even though it hasn't been the strongest in the last 2 months or so. They've been competitive in this series. I think they get the win in this one. So give me the San Francisco Giants on the money line. In our next game, we see the Seattle Mariners taking on the Oakland A's. George Kirby and Adrian Martinez are your starters. To me, this is a lopsided pitching matchup. George Kirby, one of the hotter starting pitchers in baseball right now. Another quality start in his last game against the Angels, where he went 6 innings, 2 earned runs, and 8 strikeouts. Now, the Mariners did lose that game because they didn't give him any offensive support and any run support, but I think that they will show up here against Adrian Martinez, a right-handed pitcher who the Mariners have been hitting righties very well in the last 30 days overall. Their isolated power numbers are actually number 1 in baseball during that stretch. So Martinez, a 6.38 ERA at home this season. His last start was on the road, but he gave up 4 home runs in that one. So 5 homers and 18 base hits allowed in his last 8 2/3 innings against the White Sox and Astros, 2 other playoff teams, or 2, I should say, above 500 teams. It doesn't look like the White Sox are going to be making the playoffs, but give me the Seattle Mariners laying the run line on the road in this one. Next up, we see the St. Louis Cardinals taking on the San Diego Padres. Jack Flaherty and Joe Musgrove are your starters. These are 2 starting pitchers that are definitely difficult to read right now, and this is why this is one of the tougher games on the board, in my opinion, as Joe Musgrove, his last start was fantastic. 6 innings, no earned runs, and 8 strikeouts against the Diamondbacks team that's been hitting righties very well. But before that, Musgrove was really struggling on the mound. He gave up, in about 9 2/3 innings, he gave up 8 earned runs and 5 home runs previous to that really good start. So is Java Joe back to his form at the beginning of the season when he was one of the better starters in the league? We'll have to see, but he's facing another tough lineup here in the St. Louis Cardinals. The reason why I can't back the Cardinals here is Jack Flaherty just too inconsistent right now in his last 10 innings of work against pretty bad teams overall offensively in the Pirates and the Reds. He's given up 7 earned runs, 2 home runs, 6 walks, only 5 strikeouts in those 10 innings, and those are against weak lineups. In fact, he's faced 4 consecutive weaker lineups in the Reds, Pirates, Nationals, and Cubs. He's had mixed results, and now in San Diego, I don't think it's going to get any easier for him. So give me the San Diego Padres at a pretty good price on the money line at home. Next up, we see the Chicago Cubs taking on the Pittsburgh Pirates. No official lineup for this one, but we should see Hayden Wisniewski and Mitch Keller on the mound. Mitch Keller is in the best form I've seen him at the major league level right now. In the month of September, in 19 innings of work against the New York Mets and the St. Louis Cardinals, Keller's only given up 3 earned runs. It's a 1.42 ERA with 14 strikeouts and only 1 home run allowed. He is in great form. He's facing a weak lineup here in the Chicago Cubs, and I think he'll have success in this start as well. On the other side, Hayden Wisniewski is also having a pretty good start to his season, as he's got a 2.3 ERA. He struck out 18 batters through 15 2/3 innings. However, the teams he's faced, the Reds, the Giants, and Rockies, not the strongest lineups on paper. Now, sure, the Pirates are certainly not the strongest lineup themselves. However, all 3 of those starts for Wisniewski were at home at Wrigley Field. This is going to be his first road test at the major league level in his career. So, a little concerning there. I give the edge to the Pirates just a little bit, so I'm going to take the Pirates and lean towards the under in this one. Next up, we see the Milwaukee Brewers taking on the Cincinnati Reds. Brandon Woodruff and Hunter Green are your starters. Hunter Green's first start back at the major league level, September 17th against the Cardinals. The Reds didn't win that game, but it was a 1-0 final score in extra innings, and Hunter Green went 6 innings, 11 strikeouts, no earned runs, no walks, and that's really the big thing, no walks and no home runs. As Green, that's been an issue for him, is control, allowing a lot of free passes, and the home run ball. But in his last 5 starts at the major league level, he's gone at least 5 innings through all of those outings, most of those games at least 6 innings, and he's only given up 1 home run in that stretch. So really impressive stuff. His numbers starting to improve, starting to develop a little bit. And on the other side, Brandon Woodruff has pitched well this season, but mostly at home. In his road outings, his ERA is above 4 at 4.33. He faced the Reds earlier this season at Great American Ballpark and did not fare well at all. And now his season ERA against the Reds at 5.63. In that start back in Great American on May 9th, he went 4 1/3, 8 hits, 6 runs, 5 of those were earned, 2 home runs in that game. The Cincinnati Reds have done a really good job at limiting strikeouts against righties in the last month. They actually have the 7th lowest strikeout rate against those righties, so their team OPS and isolated power numbers have actually been helped out because of that. So they're limiting strikeouts. They've already hit Woodruff before, especially at home, and they've got a starting pitcher that's starting to improve and missing a lot of bats. Give me the Cincinnati Reds on the run line plus the 1.5 runs in this one. Next up, we see the Toronto Blue Jays taking on the Tampa Bay Rays. Jose Barrios going for the Blue Jays. No official starter for the Rays right now, so we don't have an official lineup for this game. But Jose Barrios on the road, it's really been tough to back. A 6.19 road ERA in about 72 2/3 innings of work, 50 earned runs, 17 home runs as well, and only 54 strikeouts. And the Rays have been pretty good against righties overall this season. Now, they struggled in that Houston Astros series, but I do think that they will get a win here at Tropicana Field. Give me the Tampa Bay Rays in a lean right now. We'll have to see who they decide to start on the mound if this maybe is a bullpen game, but give me the Rays right now. That's where I'm leaning. Next up, we see the Houston Astros taking on the Baltimore Orioles. Justin Verlander and Kyle Bradish are your starters. I mean, Justin Verlander is on a different planet right now. He hasn't given up a single earned run in his last 3 starts, striking out plenty of batters, and one of those starts was against these Orioles. That was the game where he got injured in, and he only went 3 innings of work, but he had 6 strikeouts, no earned runs, and his first start back at the Major League level from the injury was on September 16th. 5 innings, 9 strikeouts, no hits, only 1 walk allowed against the A's. Unbelievable stuff for Verlander. It's really tough to not take him in this spot, especially with Kyle Bradish, who was a starter that we had some value on, I would say, in the middle or the beginning of August. But recently, his strikeout numbers have plummeted. His last 11 2/3 innings, only 6 strikeouts. That's not what you want to see from a guy that I believe is strikeout dependent. So I don't love him in this game against a red-hot Astros lineup. Even though the Astros have already clinched the division, I still think there's stuff to play for. You want to clinch home field advantage in the American League playoffs. So give me the Houston Astros laying the 1.5 runs on the road. Next up, we see the New York Yankees taking on the Boston Red Sox. Michael Wacha and Jameson Taillon are your starters. I know the Yankees are big favorites, and I know they're playing at home, and the Red Sox are not going to be making the postseason this season, but I mean, Michael Wacha has just owned the New York Yankees this season and in years past, and it's tough to take Jameson Taillon at this kind of price with how well the Red Sox are hitting right-handed pitching in the last month. Their team OPS number is ranked 3rd in the league, while the Yankees ranked 9th, so an edge goes to the Red Sox there, and Michael Wacha against the Yankees this season, 7 innings, 9 strikeouts, no earned runs, and that was at a Fenway Park start, so he's pitched very well at Fenway Park. On the road, the numbers aren't as good, but still a 3.36 ERA for Wacha. They will certainly take that. Jameson Taillon has kind of been hit or miss this season. Overall, they'll take a 13-5 record with a 4.04 ERA, but his last start against the Brewers, 4 earned runs, a home run allowed in 5 innings of work. He's given up a good amount of earned runs and homers lately, at least 1 home run in 3 of his last 4 games. To me, the value's with the Red Sox on the road, even though the Yankees are still the much better team. I'm going to take a shot here with the Red Sox plus 1.5 runs as the road team. In our next game, we see the Philadelphia Phillies hosting the Atlanta Braves. 2 lefties on the mound for this one, Max Fried and Ranger Suarez. Now, both of these teams have hit lefties pretty well this season and in the last 30 days. When you look at the team OPS numbers, the Phillies are ranked 8th, the Braves are ranked 11th, so pretty much neck and neck. Isolated power, the Braves are ranked 13th, the Phillies are ranked 14th, so right there again, the Phillies a little bit higher of a strikeout rate against lefties, but they did hit 2 home runs on Max Fried the last time they faced him back on September 16th, while Ranger Suarez faced these Braves as well back on September 16th and had a better line, 6 innings, 1 earned run, 4 strikeouts. And the Phillies did lose that game in the end because of their bullpen, but I like what I saw from Ranger Suarez in that game. I like the fact that the Phillies could get to Fried, a pitcher who's not usually giving up too many homers. They got to him for 2 in that game, and now Max Fried allowing 4 home runs in his last 2 starts combined. A little bit concerning there. I think the Phillies are competitive in this game. I'm going to take them plus 1.5 runs because the Braves are just too big of favorites, in my opinion, on the road. So give me the 1.5 runs with the Phillies, who've been playing pretty well at Citizens Bank Park this season. In our next game, we see the Cleveland Guardians taking on the Chicago White Sox. Johnny Cueto and Shane Bieber are your starters. Shane Bieber's in great form right now. His last 3 starts, striking out plenty of batters, not giving up many earned runs, and only walking a few guys as well. I think he pitches, again, pretty well in this game. He's got a nice 2.67 ERA on the road this season. He's faced the White Sox a few times this year, and he's had good success against them with a 2.96 ERA through 27 innings of work. Only 22 strikeouts, but a 202 opponent's batting average and only 3 home runs allowed. That's exactly the kind of numbers you want to see from Bieber. Now, on the other side, Johnny Cueto's also had success against the Guardians this season through 15 2/3 innings, only a 1.72 ERA. However, the thing that concerns me a little bit, I know Johnny Cueto's more of a pitch-to-contact guy. He doesn't really strike out many batters, but only having 2 strikeouts against one team through 15 2/3 innings, I don't know. I think you need to miss some more bats to really be sustainably successful against a certain opponent. And, the Guardians do a great job at limiting strikeouts to begin with. They're pretty good against righties team OPS-wise this season. So I am going to give the edge to the Guardians in this game overall, but I'm also going to lean towards the under as both pitchers have been really good against the opposition. And in our final game of the night, we see the Arizona Diamondbacks taking on the Los Angeles Dodgers. We're going to see Zach Gallen and Julio Urias on the mound for this game. Now, Zach Allen's been one of the hotter pitchers in baseball in the second half of the season. It's really tough to go against him right now, and even though his last start wasn't the greatest, he gave up 3 walks, a home run, 2 earned runs in the end, but in a 5 1/3 innings against the Padres, it still wasn't the worst performance from him. He's been really sharp since really the beginning of July, and I do think he'll have a decent outing in this game. I do expect the Dodgers to still win this one in the end. I don't love this Diamondbacks bullpen, but I think the better play is just on the under. Julio Urias, a left-handed pitcher. The Diamondbacks not really hitting lefties much at all lately. Their strikeout percentage is a lot higher against lefties than it is against righties. Their team OPS is ranked 28th in the league in the last month. Isolated power numbers ranked 26th. So Urias is in good form. His ERA right now down to 2.27. He's in good form. Give me the Dodgers and the under in this one. And that's it. Those are the games for Thursday, September 22nd. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. And don't forget to put your baseball plays in the comments section below. Again, if you're looking for my best bets, you can find those at Pick Dawgz Premium. And don't forget to check out that NFL edition of Ron's Rundown on the Pick Dawgz YouTube channel as well. As always, this is Ron Romanelli. Good luck.